2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 4 of Teddybears and Tentacles.
Oh yeah, there it is, dude.
My name is Quinn, and I have with me today and every day Skinny Rick.
Today and also every other day.
Yeah, every other day. Shared custody. And so we're just chilling, man. We have been super busy. We did a video project yesterday that we've been planning on working on for a couple months. We did it kind of last minute-ish. But it was good because we got to check and see, how long it would take us to do something like that in a short period of time. And I think that we did a pretty good job at it. Skinny Rick directed it, and you did a good job, man. I'm proud of you.
I'm nervous about it because I always end up, when I get to post on anything, I always end up being like, oh, I forgot this. I should have done this. And so right now I'm just still cutting the rough draft Yeah.
Well, I think it'll be good. I think that the set looked good and
so fresh and so clean.
Caitlin did a good job. Eli did a good job.
Yep.
I had a eye patch on and all that stuff. So it was fun. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. So let's get into some of the
Pomcast.
Smaller stuff first, I guess. So first off, I am almost done with Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Finally.
Good.
I can go fight Ganon now.
You can. Do you have the Master Sword?
Yeah.
Good.
And I'm sad, but also not at the same time.
I was very sad when I beat the game.
Yeah. I don't want to beat it, but at the same time,
I want to kill Ganon.
I kind of want to get it over with. Yeah. I pre-ordered Link's Awakening. That comes out next week, and so I'm going to be playing that. So I'll probably not play the Breath of the Wild DLC. I'll go and play Link's Awakening and then play the DLC right before.
We're not going to get Pokemon's until November.
Yeah, November. Yeah. So I'm going to DLC it up before that.
I'm playing Pokemon's.
Yeah, I am too, dude. I'm super pumped about it. And I got all the new DLC characters on Smash Brothers, so
yep.
That'll entertain me for a little bit as well. Decided not to get Borderlands. I saw some weird review situations. There's bugs. There's bugs, I think, but also they chose to go kind of a non-traditional route with giving reviewers game codes. So usually what they do is they give some kind of full game code to reviewers so that before the game comes out, you'll have like scores and stuff like that, but 5 stars or best whatever out of 10. And apparently the game code that they gave the reviewers was like something kind of weird. It wasn't the full game. They had some kind of system within the game that they told them, like, don't pay attention to this. We still don't know if we're going to put it in launch. And, it comes out
I thought it came out like yesterday.
It comes out tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So, maybe, after it launches, I'll check it out, but I don't like that. So,
okay.
See what happens with that. Yesterday was 9/11.
It was
one of my, things. I spent a lot of time looking into it and stuff like that recently, and being sort of a conspiracy theorist. 9/11 is a fun day for me because you have a lot of content come out and stuff like that. But, man, at the end of it, it was a horrible day. It was a horrible act that happened. A lot of people died, and we should always take the time to remember the family members of the people who died serving and trying to help people escape the building, and as well as the people who were working in those buildings that died as well. So, shout out to all those people. Sorry for y'all's loss. And, we appreciate if you lost somebody serving in that, on that day, then we really appreciate their service. So, you got anything to say about that?
There's like a mix of emotions that go into it because it's like, you know, it's easy to be angry at the people who did that, but there's also a lot of hurt, you know, for those families who lost loved ones, and so it's like can't be too in either direction. You gotta kind of keep in mind, like, you know, don't get so focused on the fact that, you know, it could have been prevented, I guess, to where you kind of forget about the people who had to walk through like mourning and stuff. But
yeah, 9/11 is, you know, it's really interesting. I suggest, you know, now that you're a little bit older, just looking into it and learning about it a little bit, because it was something that happened not that long ago. And what's another thing that's really interesting about it is that shortly after that, there were so many technological advances made in the world, you know, and I think that especially with security and you know, different things like that, I think that event jump started, you know, more or less the age that the technological age that we live in today. If you watch the videos, the airport security videos of those guys going through the airport, I mean, it looks like, to you would probably be like, video, like they spent money to make cameras that look like that. Like, it looks horrible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you really can't even tell who the people are that they have on camera that are walking through those gates and stuff like that. But it's interesting. So other than that, what else happened this week? Last week we couldn't record because we had a hurricane that was allegedly supposed to wipe out our city, and
then it
did nothing.
It didn't show up.
Yeah, so it was a lot of waste of time and a lot of waste of people's money and all that. But I
mean,
safety, and it's important to be safe. So we had to take last week off for the most part. What did y'all end up doing?
Corbin came over, and we played Call of Duty.
Yep.
For like 2 days, and we wore our plate carriers around the house.
Cool. Y'all didn't lose electricity? Yeah, us either.
We didn't even lose power, which is weird because we'll lose power in like a thunderstorm.
Yeah, in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, but we're not going to lose it in a hurricane. It doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. One of the funniest things, you know, that came out of it for me was the Trump hurricane projection map. Have you seen this?
No.
Google this, please.
Trump? Is that what they're calling the next one?
No, look up Trump Hurricane Dorian map.
Images.
Click any of them. Okay. So he on TV, I guess, or I don't remember exactly where he said it at first.
He did a forecast?
Yeah. So he said that the thing was hitting Alabama, like he said it by mistake. And then everybody was like, dude, it's not going towards Alabama. And then if you see the hurricane's projected path, it looks like our good friend Donald Trump took a Sharpie marker and added a hurricane projection path going into Alabama. So
that's amazing.
I thought that was super funny. And
dude,
it's so obvious. Look at it.
Dude, why would we not want this man as president? Out of all 44 other presidents, how many of them have drawn Sharpie on a hurricane projection? I'm just saying, we've had 44 presidents of being serious. Let's just
it's a reality show,
take a break.
Dude. It's a reality show.
We're just taking a look. We're really just, what we're doing is and people don't want to do this, and that's fine. You don't have to like him, but let's just take a break from politics while he's in office Let's just laugh a little bit. And then we can get back to everyone backstabbing each other and illegal things happening under the radar.
Whenever you have elections coming up, nobody's going to be willing to do that.
No one's, dude, I don't get it. It's probably just mainly because I can't vote yet. But it's like, why are we so angry, dude? People get so mad so easily. It's like, dude, hey, guy. Like, if you don't get the person you want into office, it's not the end of the world unless they're literally trying to end the world.
Well, here's the deal, man. I told you earlier I was mad at something, and this goes along the same thing. So this morning I got up and I went to pick out my shirt, and this is a shirt that I chose. And the shirt, I'll show it, it's a Volcom shirt, but it has the Hawaiian Islands above it. And I was immediately reminded of Hawaii and how much different it is than here.
Oh, yeah.
And the amount of care for that kind of, politics, or
they all love each other.
Yeah. And
try that.
And then my alarm went off, and I used the Samsung alarm. And so I have Samsung's AI telling me, good morning, it is now 8:30. The low is 73, but then it goes into the new stuff, and it's Trump this, left wing that. And I went from being, really happy remembering us going to Hawaii to immediately just pissed. And so that's what I'm mad about. I'm mad that's what that living in the continental US, that's what it's come to. That's what the news is. That's what, I look, in the 90s, whenever I was growing up, you had all the Bill Clinton stuff going on, but also you had news stuff that was Billy ate 3 pies at the, county fair. Like, there's not any of that stuff anymore. It's just people screaming and complaining, and the left-wing media outlets are making fun of the right-wing people, and the right-wing media outlets are making fun of the left-wing people. And I'm just so sick of the political climate that we're in right now. And, I'm around a lot of right-wing people, conservative people, and they're screaming, or not screaming, but they all think that the left is crazy. And there are a lot of people that the left is crazy. But also go to Politically Incorrect on 4chan. It's a bunch of right-wing people screaming racism into a vacuum of one another, and conspiracy theories. That's what 4chan is. And it's on both sides. And I'm so sick of it, dude. I'm just so sick of it.
I think we need to get it together. I think that's what we need to do.
We got to look. Whenever we were over there, first off, let's be clear about something. Hawaii, not a part of the United States.
No,
not.
And that's different.
We went over there and captured those little islands and used them as a revenue for tourist attractions and stuff like that. Nothing about that place is United States. There's nothing's covered in advertising. There's not industry everywhere. It's a bunch of people without air conditioning on Honolulu Island with chickens and pigs and all that stuff running around, surfing and paddleboarding and eating sushi. That's all it is.
Why aren't we doing that?
Dude, it's the sense of community there is completely different. It's not a part of the United States. It's just not. Like, technically it is, on paper it is, but also it's not.
Yeah, dude. They gotta add a section on the map just to...
Dude, my perspective on this place changed so much whenever we went over there, and I'm going to spare everybody the details of how great our vacation was. Guess what we did? Hawaii stuff.
Yeah, dude.
That's it. Hiked and swam and sushi. Ate hot dog sushi. That was it. But the point is, like, we went, at one point we were walking down the street in like this crowded place that was really and truly the only place, covered in advertising and what would be considered U.S. There's this big strip of.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Nothing but like.
That wasn't even like too out there. Like, that's pretty normal.
Well, I mean, it's normal for here, but not for the rest of that place. There was no other place on that island like that while we were there.
So I guess what like my thing is like, it's not to walking from like the residential areas into that didn't feel too drastic. Whereas like when we were in Mexico, going from where Isaac lives into town where they had like the mall and stuff, felt like you're walking into a totally different world.
But I think that's probably, and I can see what you mean by that for sure. But it's probably because we're also so used to that type of thing. Like you can't sit there and say that where we were staying at was, you know, nothing looked anything like that place, that you know, strip where the magician was.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It was nothing but Gucci and Prada and surf shops and a Tesla store. Was there a Denny's? Mm-hmm. But, you know, while we were walking down there, we saw a little family that was singing, and they gave a brief history lesson on Hawaii. And, you know, I kind of just watched everybody that was standing there's like face drop at the realization that, you know, like Hawaii is a conquered island, and it's just so much not, you know, a part of the typical United States culture. And so this is them. We'll pull them up on Facebook right now. It's called The Free Little Birds, and it's just, you know, a family, a few little kids, and I guess their dad, and they just sit out, you know, I'm sure they do other performance, but they were street performing, and they were great. You know, they were great. And I've looked them up since as well. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just pissed me off, man. You know how much advertising that my life is filled with, and the percentage of it that's wanted. Guess what it is? 0. I don't want any of that advertising that's in my face. Every time there's an ad on my phone, there's a billboard. Never have I seen a billboard and went, I'm going to go to the, you know, Grand Casino this weekend to watch Kenny Chesney. No, that's never happened, ever. If there's somebody that I want to see, I know where they're going, and I know if they're going to be here or if they're not. And I'm going to go if they are.
Yeah, dude.
And that's it. I don't need a 20-foot tall by 35-foot wide sign, 17 of them within a mile stretch of the interstate, telling me what I need to go do.
There's definitely too much advertising.
It's just so frustrating, man. And the political climate is just too much. Look, there's never been a point where I'm walking around where I've witnessed one of these, you know, what do you call it?
Deja vu.
I don't know. Just you know, the situations that you hear about that are just somebody raging about their sexuality or something. Nothing. I've never witnessed that in person, ever.
No, I mean, I've had people yell at me before just because. Anyways, I've been in public before and in a store and asked a question about one of their products, and then basically what it was is I was like, oh, Trump has a cologne. Yeah. And so I asked the lady working there, I was like, hey, like how much is this? And she's like, oh, we don't, like, I try to like hide it because I blah blah blah. I'm like, hey lady, just do your job. Like, I'm not trying to get into a debate right now. I just want to know how the cologne smells because I want to smell good. And if I'm going to wear it, I want to know it smells good. And so, but she like, just from me asking like this, and then she like went off, and like, I'm literally just sitting there trying to ask like, hey, can I buy this? And she's like not even letting me speak. So I just think my thing is, I think people need to learn how to respect each other more. Like, just a mutual respect goes a long way. Like, I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to even think that you are necessarily by my standards, a good person to have some respect. It's like, just respect the fact that, you know, they're their life is not the same as yours. You know, everyone's kind of, you know.
Yeah.
So
and if you're a left-wing person that's screaming at the right, or a right-wing person that's screaming at the left, chill out and remember the fact that both of you are humans with different experiences and different perspectives, and maybe have a conversation. Maybe sit down and have a conversation where you listen, not just talk.
I mean, because honestly, at the end of the day, we're not that different. Like, people, like, because you got to think about it. No one is sitting there thinking, okay, I say no one. Someone might be insane, I guess. But really, the majority of the time, no one's sitting there thinking, oh, how can I ruin my life? How can I just do dumb things that make no sense? And so, like, at the end of the day, it's like if you were to ask probably anyone, like, they're at, you know, what they think they're doing with their life, they probably believe that is the right thing to do to, like, better themselves. And, you know, of course, people will, you know, some people give up on themselves, but it's like, we just get too caught up in the details to where it's like, I guess my example is like with politics. You know, a good candidate is someone who wants to better this country through whatever part of office they're running for. And so it's like, the way that they do that might be different, and, you know, we don't all agree. Some people think, oh, you know, for example, I guess with like guns, it's like, well, some people think that we can make it safer by restricting, you know, the accessibility of firearms, whereas other people would say, well, it actually would be safer if we, you know, don't have restrictions on it. And there's always a middle ground, you know, there's always a balance to everything. And so instead of getting upset and arguing and claiming that these people are trying to ruin our country, it's like, no, just talk about it. Like, just find some common ground. And it's not easy, like, especially if you look at when America was first getting started, and, you know, we had to come up with all of our laws, and we had to, like, you know, we had to basically build the government from the ground up. Yep. There was so much fighting, dude. I mean, people in those meetings and stuff, people would get assaulted and stuff. Like, we need to stop doing that. You know, it's not easy. It's stressful to try to find common ground. You know, it's frustrating because you feel like this person's not listening, but it's doable. Yeah. It's very achievable. So,
yeah, I mean, this is a perfect example, is this right here. Like, you were raised in a conservative right-wing household, and so was I, but I, you know, through my experiences, I've become a more liberal person, and you're a gun guy, and I'm not a gun guy. And both of us can agree that mass shootings suck, and something has to be done about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're around each other constantly. When's the last time we got in a knockdown, drag out about anything political?
And
never, because we don't let that stuff, you know, drive our emotions.
Yeah.
It's, you know, but it does really piss me off that's what's in my face constantly, and I don't want it. And I mean, I am somewhat, like, I do go looking for it sometimes. I stay up to date with that stuff. I try and stay.
You know, it's tough because you got to dig through the trash to find, you know, what's going on. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, our culture is, and when I say our culture, like, you know, people, it just makes me upset when I hear people say things like, oh, America was never great, or like, oh, I hate being here. It's like, then don't be here. It's like, either stop complaining. You don't get to complain and not do anything. If you're going to complain, go somewhere else and complain. If you're going to fix it, then fix it. It's like, people talk about, you know, how terrible America is, but the reality is like, when was the last time you did anything to try to fix that? And that's even on like a very small level, like my interaction with people that I don't know and probably don't agree with some of the things I think. It starts at that level. You know, the culture is built from people.
Yeah.
And so if we can, in our own personal lives, change our mindset from being one of like, we have a very offense driven culture. We like to offend people and we like to be offended.
Yep.
We like to complain about stuff and we
Drama.
like to, it's like, just stop doing that. Okay. You know, someone does something, get over it. You don't antagonize them, be civil.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And you can do something. You can do something. You can. Hey, a reality TV star is the president right now.
mm-hmm.
You can do something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Arnold
dude.
Schwarzenegger was the governor of California.
Oh, dude. He was.
You know, they somewhere in the I can't remember exactly where it is. I was reading it a couple months ago, but somewhere in Europe, I believe, they elected this comedian guy as their like president or something like that, and it was just because they liked his. You know, he wasn't a politician. He was just like, hey, we need to, you know, some of this stuff is crap, and we just need to change some of it. And they were like, that sounds pretty good.
Well, my thing is like, I get that we will really never get back to this. Nothing's impossible. Odds are we'll never get back to it. But, you know, elections for like America, like George Washington, the first president, it wasn't like he ran for president. You know, elections back then were not a you didn't make money off of it. It wasn't like a career field. It was like you don't run. People vote.
Yeah, you're the most capable guy, so you're the one that's gonna
get picked.
Yeah,
and it was just like whatever the community thought. Like on it, like unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure people asked him to basically be like king.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then it was like, you know, they kept coming back and he was like, no, like I don't want to have that power. And then, you know, they wound up kind of reworking some of it. But my thing is like, we need to get back to a point where it's not a game. It's like, let's just, you know, it's like, let's think through this. What makes sense for our country? And there's a lot of people in our country, which makes it hard for everyone to agree, because with that many people, and even just going from here to, you know, Atlanta is a very different culture, you know? So it's like, it's all, there's a balance to everything, and you have to work to find that.
Yeah. And, you know, if you're a right-wing person that whenever Obama was going into office that was screaming he's a devil and that he's gonna, you know, end civilization as we know it, he didn't do it. And if you're a left-wing person that was screaming the same thing about Trump, we made it halfway through, and it's okay.
We're not dead
it's
yet.
Okay. It's okay. And
no one's been nuked yet.
Yep. And guess what? You know, worst case scenario for you if you don't like Trump is in 5 years, it'll be somebody else.
Yeah.
So, and there's a good chance that it'll be somebody from your side of the thing, you know, because that's what we're doing now. We're just going back and forth. We're doing the opposite game. And it just, I'm just tired of seeing that stuff. I'm tired of people, you know, screaming about political correctness whenever, you know, you've got a guy who is running a pedophile island and a bunch of politicians and deep state and royal family people are hanging out over there. Dude, hey, I found out the other day he won the lottery 3 times in 3 different states. You know what that looks like? Hey, governor, we got these pictures or video or whatever, and so I want $75 million. And where are they going to get $75 million from to give to somebody for nothing? The lottery.
How do you even rig that?
So what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? We're screaming about that stuff? Is that what we're screaming about?
I can tell you what we're not doing. Good.
No. We're screaming about, you know, whether or not you should eat a cheeseburger or a fake cheeseburger. You know, that's what we're worried about. So Now that we got that out of the way, we're gonna look at a few other things. I want to look at. I mentioned it to you the other day. I didn't look any more into it, so we can learn about it together. There was some big piece of equipment, some underwater observation gear, fuel. Yeah, that just went missing.
That's not.
Yeah,
that's not.
Let's Google that. Let's Google that. I think it underwater observatory goes miss. Yeah, there you go. It's right there.
Yep.
Yep.
Do you want to do this, or do you want to do a different source?
Well, I mean, this is just basic. This isn't a piece of political thing, so hopefully it's not going to be biased. So let's just look at it. We're on CNN right now.
I mean, I'm not against CNN. I just know there's a lot of.
Let's learn about the basics of it first.
There's a lot of divide.
Yeah, but this isn't a politically driven situation. True. So an underwater laboratory disappeared one night last month, and scientists have no idea what happened. The Bachnes Eck Observatory might have been forcibly removed from a bay in Germany. The Geomar Helmuts. What?
No. Dude. Forcibly removed?
Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. So it might have been forcibly removed from a bay in Germany. The Geomar Helmut Center for Ocean Research in Kiel said, "It's precious data about the state of the Baltic Sea." So this is in the Baltic Sea, which is not the ocean. So, like, there's no, hardcore tide to sweep this thing away.
We out there on Loch Ness, boy.
For the most part, this is a really big saltwater lake. And that's what a sea is. So the observatory planted in Kiel's Something Bay in 2016 consists of 2 deck-sized racks. One acts as a power source tethered to the coast by a cable, and the other contains the sensors that transmit data back to the shore.
That first picture looked like the cable was torn.
Yeah, it looks like the cable looks like something twisted that thing off, dude. All right, Hound. So
where are you at?
Just stop for a sec. Yeah. Both were missing when the divers went to investigate. Geomar researcher and the marine biogeochemist Herman Baines said in a statement the devices were gone. The divers could not find them anymore. The observatory costs around $330,000, but the data it collects is priceless, he said.
What are they observing?
Well, its sensors measure the sea's salinity, concentrations of methane, oxygen, and carbon dioxide and temperature. Because they weigh more than 1,500 pounds combined, Geomar said it suspects a storm, current, or sea creature is to blame for the uprooting.
Jeez.
But in case a human is responsible, they've enlisted some police and the public to search for clues to its whereabouts. The research team's efforts so far have been futile. And this is in Germany.
This looks like it does, connect out into the ocean.
Yeah, but
I did that. That was.
To me, it looks like it's.
Oh, dude.
It goes into it some, but you're good. Yeah, you're fine though. What's up? Okay. It looks like down there by Denmark, it's. Maybe there's a bridge going from Denmark to Copenhagen or something like that. But it looks like,
nope.
It doesn't look like.
Nope.
No?
No, I didn't.
Oh. It doesn't, at least this map, it doesn't look like, it just kind of looks like the ocean's feeding it.
Yeah, it's connected to the ocean, but it, there's lots of rivers and stuff too. This is just a very watery area.
Yeah. So.
Hence, sea.
It's pretty spooky, dude.
I'll tell you what. It's nightmare fuel, dude. I'm not trying to be anywhere where something that weighs, 350,000 pounds?
No. 1,500 pounds, but that's still almost a ton.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What was that number that I saw then?
That was how much money it cost, $330,000.
Oh, you're right. Okay. That's a lot less. But still, I can't lift that much.
Look, if there's a car,
dude, I don't even think Dwayne the Rock Johnson could lift that much.
No, dude. If there's a car that's underwater, and we know where it is, and it disappears, I'm freaking out. I don't, I'm not into that. I'm not into
disappearing.
No. I watched Jaws too much. Tremors whenever I was a kid. If you ever seen Anaconda with that big snake,
dude. Speaking
of, I don't like anything real big.
How about Roanoke, dude?
Roanoke? What are you talking about?
Well, you don't know about Roanoke?
Learn me some.
You ain't never heard of Roanoke?
Roanoke, Virginia?
Yes.
Well, what happened over there?
You don't know, dog? Not recently. This is old.
What happened?
You didn't know that colony disappeared, dude?
Oh, no. Let's look at it.
Wait, for real, dude? This is one of my favorite little things. Yeah, so...
Roanoke colony deserted.
So basically, I'll give you we can read through this, but basically the thing is this colony, they were short on food, so they sent a ship back to England, to Europe, whatever. I don't remember where in Europe, but to get food and to come back. And when that ship came back, the entire settlement or colony, the entire colony was gone. The buildings were there. There was no people. There was no blood. There was no signs of war. They were just gone.
Dude,
there weren't.
The only clue to the mysterious disappearance was the word Croatoan.
Dude, carved in a tree. No bodies, no anything.
50 miles away. So none of the settlers. What's Croatoan?
They don't know.
Let's Google Croatoan.
They think it's a mix between two I don't know. Would it just be Indian, like Native American, like the language? I don't know what it would.
So it was the name of an island close by. So do they think that potentially these other islanders came and got them, or maybe they left to go there?
Are you sure? Because when I researched it in the past, they said that they didn't know what the word meant. I don't know. That is on Wikipedia. I don't.
Croatoan was the name of a nearby island. This is this is Wikipedia, so there's no telling.
I mean, it's not what it said.
Croatoan Island after it.
Croatoan Island. But anyways, they never found him.
Huh.
Have we found the lost colony of Roanoke?
National Geographic. You know what they say happened to the Easter Island people is that they actually used every resource on that island down to the last tree, and the people just died off there. You know what I'm talking about? The island with the big head statues. Yeah.
But anyways, Roanoke, dude, it's a spooky dog.
Yeah. So they just weren't there whenever they got back.
No, I mean, like, that's good, dude. That right there, that's a movie.
The war in Spain delayed his return to Roanoke. So the guy that went to go get the supplies, I guess, had to stay longer because of a war that was happening.
But they didn't find any bodies.
That's weird.
Some people think that some of them Indian boys rolled up on them and took them as
hostages or
like slaves or whatever. Or some people think that they ran out of food and they went and joined one of the Native American things. But that doesn't sound as likely to me.
Yeah.
Just because there was a lot of, I guess it would just be straight up racism between, the Native Americans and the settlers, because they were, Native Americans, they do the stabby stabs.
Yeah, I love
and
stuff.
The settlers were doing the.
Look this up. Dyatlov, Dyatlov, Pass, PASS incident. This is where it's at, dude. If you like this is in Russia. This is your favorite place. All right, let's go to... Keep going down. You can go to Snopes. Go to the Snopes one. Scroll down. Let's make sure that Snopes doesn't say it's fake or something. Is that it? Okay, here we go. So there were 9 ski hikers that went into this area of Russia. Okay.
Okay. First mistake.
Yeah. First mistake is them doing anything in Russia. That's what you're saying? Okay.
If they're not Russian, yes.
Yeah.
If they're Russian, they're fine. They're adapted.
Yeah. So in 1959, the frozen bodies of a 9-member ski hiking expedition that had gone missing weeks before in the northern Urals of the Soviet Union were found near the campsite on a mountain called Kholat Syakhl, I guess, which means dead mountain in the indigenous language, made up of mostly students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute a few hundred miles away in Russian name of a city. The team had set out on the 27th January to reach another mountain about 7 miles away, Gora Atorten, which means don't go there. So they're going to
don't go there.
Dead Mountain, to an area called Don't Go There.
This sounds like a bunch of dummies.
After being sidetracked by a snowstorm, they pitched a tent on the eastern slope of Kholat Syakhl or whatever on the 2nd of February. That night they died. Apart from the fact that they froze to death, no one knows why. And so the way that they found them is what was interesting. Police and military investigators charged with solving the case were baffled by what they found. The skiers' tent had been sliced open from the inside and hurriedly abandoned. Their belongings were still inside, but the skiers weren't. The placement and condition of their bodies, some found as far as 1.5 kilometers, almost a mile from the tent, and buried under 4 meters of snow, were odd to say the least. Keep going down. Hang on. Investigators found footprints in the snow of 8 or 9 people who were wearing socks, a single shoe, or were barefoot. The footsteps led towards a dense forest but disappeared after 500 meters. The first 2 bodies of 2 men, barefoot and dressed only in their underclothes.
Wait. I think I have an idea.
What?
They were at the base of this mountain, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what if they heard an avalanche in the middle of the night? I mean, they were all covered in several things of meters of snow.
Yeah, but listen though. Because allegedly they knew that they could not survive outside of the tent for long at all. So,
but this is what I'm saying is it let's say you're sitting there, you're asleep, and then you hear, and you can't get the tent open. You cut it and you just take off running.
Okay, well let's keep reading.
Maybe.
Okay, investigators found footprints in the snow of 8 or 9 people who were wearing socks, single shoe, or were barefoot. The footsteps led towards a dense forest but disappeared after 500 meters. The first 2 bodies of 2 men, barefoot and dressed only in their underclothes, were found at the edge of the forest near the remains of a fire. The next 3 bodies...
Wait, near the remains of a fire?
The next 3 bodies, a man and a woman, were found between the fire and the tent, suggesting they had been trying to return to the tent. Autopsies failed to find any evidence of foul play. An inquest concluded that all 5 had died of hypothermia. 2 months later, however, the partially dressed bodies of other 4 members of the team were discovered in a forest ravine not far from the 2 bodies. They appeared to have suffered traumatic pressure or crush injuries, and the tongue of one had been ripped out. Otherwise, there were no external injuries, but tests conducted on their bodies and clothing show small traces of radiation. Keep going.
So Russian, dude. What are we doing?
Dude, tongueless with radiation, bro. Keep going down.
The most Russian thing I've ever heard of, dude.
Keep going down.
What the heck?
The investigators concluded enigmatically that the skiers died because they encountered a natural force they were unable to overcome.
Russia.
Public access to the site was banned for 3 years. The result of the investigations were classified. If ever there was a surefire recipe to whip up rumors and conspiracy theories, this was it.
Dude.
The conclusion was vague, the evidence was under lock and key, and there were too many questions left unanswered. Why, for example, did the skiers flee? The relative safety of the tent? Why did they leave their belongings? Why did some simply freeze to death while others showed signs of internal trauma? Who or what removed the tongue of one of the victims? Why were there traces of radiation on their clothing? And what about the UFOs? It was reported that eyewitnesses in the northern Urals saw fast-moving balls of fire in the night sky around the time of the Dyatlov Pass incident. It has been suggested plausibly that there were Soviet missiles or rocket tests. But another theory, and here we encounter the earliest paranormal explanations of the incidents, hold that the fireballs exploded or emitted a beam of unspecified energy that directly caused the skier's death. So that's what's going on, dude. You had 9 people, what'd they say, 5 or whatever. Some of them were found with what looks like potentially could have been an avalanche situation, like you were talking about. But what's up with the dude's ripped tongue out, and why were they covered? Why was there radiation, dude?
It's Russia.
Yeah,
dude.
I figured you'd like it. So, yeah, dude.
I can tell you right now where I'm not ever going.
Where?
Russia, dude. What the heck? Dude, how big is Russia, bro?
Well, back then, this was during the Soviet Union. So what you really need to look at is how big is the Soviet Union.
Jeez, dude. 6.6 million square miles. And Soviet Union. No, that's
so it's a couple million square
8,
miles over what just Russia is.
8,649,500 square miles. That is 8,694,500 square miles that I will never visit.
Dude, it's great, man. I love stuff like this. Let's see what else it says.
I think that's it's not.
So it says that some article came out in 1990 that suggests an avalanche or an animal attack. There's some hypothesis on Yetis, dude.
You want me to just skim through this, or are you trying?
Yeah, you can skim through it.
So we got Yetis. We got.
Go up, go. Stop. Here's a picture of something looking like a man, but it's somebody posted on Twitter. Scott Philbrook. Shout out to Scott Philbrook. Hopefully you're not some photoshopper that just photoshopped a picture of my dad's dad.
I would like to
covered
say
in snow.
I would like to say this photo, the focus, the depth of field on this camera looks like it's a nice lens.
It does, but this also looks like like one of those things that you could build in a shoebox.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
But also, there's old picture stuff right here.
Yeah,
like some of that scratches. So
it says that this is a photo found on the victim's camera from the Dyatlov Pass incident. I don't know about all that. Keep going down. Infrasound hypothesis. I forgot all about this hypothesis. So this is that there was some kind of like potentially Russia was, or the USSR was not USSR, the Soviet Union was using some type of like sound wave weapon, testing it, and that there was potentially some kind of sound frequency that like drove these people completely crazy. So let's see. Then, you know, of course, the avalanche is a hypothesis. The only thing is that if there was an avalanche, why would some of them have tried to get back to it? Back to the tent.
Once they outlived the avalanche, I would totally try to get back to the tent because that's where all the warm stuff is. But it does not explain the guy who had his tongue ripped out.
Okay, 100%. That picture is not from those people's camera. No, that one that was on Twitter. Because look at it. Go look, 1959.
Yeah. No.
You think that's a 1959 picture?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is it looks way too nice.
Yeah. I guess in post it could have been doctored up, but I don't think so.
I'll tell you what. When you go get the picture and bring it to me, I'll believe it. When you go get the film off the camera.
I don't know about all that, man. But
look at the way everything about this just seems wrong. The lighting, the depth of field,
yeah, it does. Focuses in the completely. Well, I mean, I guess you could say like if this person was dying and they just kind of clicked on the run, or
I totally just kicked the camera.
You did. So, yeah, man.
That's how it was.
Russia. Yeah, it's fine.
Look, here's the thing.
What if we look at this though?
That's when it was?
Yeah, click it. Do it.
So let's just look at some of this.
But some of this stuff is fixed in post, dude.
But there's no
look, click
focus,
on it. Look.
Dude.
All right, stop where you are. Go down a row. Click that.
There's no depth of field in these types of photos.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. This is too.
There's like in all the old photos that you see, there's not depth of field. We're not getting this soft, background.
Yeah.
I mean, even, dude, is this? No, this is something else. No,
this is dude. This is. So this is a picture from Dyatlov Pass, but Carpathian Memories of 1959.
But even here, dude, you see how far away the background is, and it's still the same. So my thing is just like the photo looks like someone went out there with their Canon, took a picture of their buddy in a gorilla costume that they spray painted white, did an Instagram filter, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I thought you might like that.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah. So what else? What do we got going on coming up?
Let me get back to what we were doing. I mean, as far as the games go, going back to that, like Modern Warfare is coming out sometime.
Yep.
I'm excited for that because it's cross-platform. So it's cross-platform.
Yeah. That'll, like I said before, not the biggest Call of Duty fan, but
I grew up playing COD and Halo, so
yeah. And I don't know, dude. Call of Duty, I don't know, man. I'm not into. I like battle royales. I like Apex, but I'm just not into like
first-person shooters.
But also like, capture the flag type game modes. I really enjoyed Overwatch because the game modes were unique. Mm-hmm. Escorting the payload and all that stuff. Like that was fun, unique kind of stuff. But I mean, I did enjoy back in like Halo 1. I did enjoy the multiplayer in that. Me and my cousin, shout out to Connor, used to whoop up on our dads and, our friends and stuff like that. And it was, it was fun, but I don't really care that much for a team deathmatch or, what do you call it? What's the other game modes that they have in Call of Duty? Domination, is that one?
Yeah, I only played deathmatch, and then in World War II they got war mode, which is like supremacy kind of.
And then I don't like zombies. Let me tell you this story, okay? Whenever I was in college, we used to sublease from the college who would lease apartments from this apartment complex. So it was set up like dorms where you'd have 2 people to a room, but you were in just an apartment complex. And some of my roommates moved away for the summer, and so I had to move into another apartment with a much, much smaller room with 2 people. So we had 2 beds. And Johan, my roommate, he had...
Dude, this is where they...
Yeah, he had this Vizio TV that this thing was so big compared to the size of this room that, like, if both of us were sleeping in our beds at the same time and the TV was, like, at the foot of our beds on this thing, like, I could kick the TV. And also, Johan could kick the TV as well. So, like, that's how small the room was and how big this TV was. Well... also, they had some people moved out for the summer that left their furniture. So there was like 9 couches in this apartment. Like it was like rows of couches. But our good friend Dylan, as well as a few other people.
I've heard this story, yeah.
For the whole time that I lived in this place, there were people who didn't even live in our apartment complex.
Who lived there? In
my room, playing zombies on our TV. Sitting in my bed, and I was a good Christian, you know, back then. I'm just not a good one now, but so I didn't complain. I would, you know, I'd rotate through the couches. There was enough of them to where, you know, it kind of felt like a hotel a little bit, because you could, you know, you could go 9 days without sleeping on the same couch, but being in your in your own living room. So
right.
That, you know, after that, I don't like Call of Duty no more, dude.
Well, I do.
Well, I'm glad that you do, and I'm sure that you will have fun with all your people. What are you going to play it on?
I'm going to get it on PC.
Cool. Well,
but I'll probably still play it with a controller.
Yeah. I'm a little interested to see what they choose to do with this one. I mean, I do think...
Well, it's not going to be... I mean, Call of Duty is Call of Duty, but... Looking at it, it's not like any of the other ones we've had so far, especially with the weapon customization. It's super intense. How it's going to be a lot more RPG like, in the sense of when you're building your loadout for an RPG, you know, everything has like stats to it. And let's say you get like a chest plate that buffs this, but it decreases that.
Yeah.
And so you have to balance all of your attachments and stuff and your perks.
We'll see what it looks like whenever it comes out. I'm super satisfied with what they're doing with the Switch. Some of the stuff that they're throwing at us, you know, they're giving us The Witcher 3, which I know that's been out on a lot of stuff, but Nintendo typically doesn't go in that direction. They're also bringing Overwatch to it, which is cool. I just like what they're doing. You know, it looks like they're in the process of bringing every Final Fantasy over to it. We have, you know, I think right now we have, I mean, we got a lot of them, basically. I'm not going to go through all of them. We at least have 8. I don't know about 9. We have 10, 10-2. We have 12. I just... we have the 7 like port over, so it seems like they're in the process of doing all that. They did the Spyro remake. It's just in my opinion, it's probably the most fun console right now. You know, so what else, man? Is there any other games coming out that you're interested in besides Pokemon's?
There's the Stranger Things DLC for Dead by Daylight comes out this month at some point. There's not a day set on it that I can find.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stream that, even though Dead by Daylight is impossible, dude.
Is it?
I've never even come close to winning. The killer is just so fast. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'll be fun. I'll have to watch you play it on the stream whenever you stream it.
Yeah.
There is one other thing that I want to talk about. I have not been watching a ton of stuff, but I did watch season 4 of Veronica Mars. Did you watch it?
No.
Veronica Mars is one of those shows, it just is really nostalgic, and I always thought that they did a good job with it being a serious show, but at the same time they don't really ever get too inappropriate. Like it is a family friendly ish, you know, show.
Sure.
Like they don't, like in this season, instead of them cursing or like dropping F-bombs all the time, which they never done it before, there's a running joke between her and her dad that they have a bet to see who could go the longest without saying the F-bomb. So instead of saying that word, they say cuss instead. So she'll like WT cuss or WTC or like what the cusser, you know, and he does it too. And so they kind of make it like a running joke sort of that like everybody else is doing sex and, you know, all that. And they, you know, steer away from it, and they kind of make it clear that it's never going to be like that.
Sure.
You know? So I really enjoyed it. I cried twice on the finale, both times for completely different emotions within about 5 minutes of one another.
Cool.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, dude.
Indeed. I don't cry at shows, or I don't really cry with shows or movies.
Well,
I think the last time I even came close to crying, I teared up when spoiler alert, I was watching The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And Herschel died.
Oh yeah. That was probably the last good season of that show.
And I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I used to be like that. I think that as you get older, and just experience more things, that more stuff, you know, starts to kind of get you emotionally.
I mean, I cry, just not at movies and TV shows.
You just think real hard.
Yep.
And then start crying.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not joking. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Just be by myself, and then I'll just think of something real sad, and I'll be like, dang it, now I'm sad.
Yeah, you should probably not think about that stuff, dude.
And I play Apex, so I'm not sad.
And then you get mad.
And then I get so mad, dude. Yeah. Dude, this morning, played a few games.
Yeah, you told me about it. You got
happy.
Got mad at some kid.
Yeah, some dude was looting out from underneath me, taking my freaking loot from my kills. And then he got downed, and I was like, well, I could come help you, but I don't have shields because you took them. So
I hadn't played Apex in a minute. Maybe we should get on soon. And
I tried to play Wraith. Did not like it.
She's weird. She's
they need to fix her tactical, because they did add it to where you can't see people, but you see shadows of where they've been. But she's way too easy to see where she's going. Her trail is too bright. Like, not one time that I've used her have I used that tactical, got behind cover, and then lived. Because
you know what you can do with it?
What?
You can just use it and not move.
Yeah, but then you're just still in the open.
Yeah, but it's like they're looking for a trail. You know, they're not looking for.
I guess, yeah.
I'm not talking about like. What I'm talking about is your best bet. Like if you're running or something like that, like get behind something that you can be still, you know, as soon as you can. Or
I think that, I mean, honestly, I don't know if they necessarily need to have a trail on it.
Yeah, they're probably not.
I think
they would be better probably doing closer to like whenever you get the invisibility cloak in Halo, to where it kind of like distorts the like a silhouette around where you're at.
Yeah, it's just too easy to track her.
Yeah.
So,
and honestly, her portals are just too much of like a niche thing, you know. Like sometimes they're really beneficial, and sometimes they just don't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just straight up good at combat, you should play her because she's got a tiny little hitbox.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I need an edge.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Mirage, dude, got over 500 bamboozles so far.
Yeah, that's good.
Over 500 certifiably dumb people.
You know what they say? You know how to get to Carnegie Hall, right? You got to probably learn like a musical instrument or something first, but after that, you got to practice.
Mm.
And I think that's why I'm still bad. Just because I don't play it enough. I don't practice enough.
Yeah, it's a tough game, dude.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready for lunch, and I'm sure you're ready for some seeds.
Yeah, dude, I need to get some flax seeds.
We're going to go on Saturday whenever you're done fasting, and we're going to eat some somethings.
Dude, we could go. No, I don't want to go there. We could go.
You can pick.
We'll go somewhere.
Yeah.
I almost said B-dubs, but B-dubs only really works if you've got like over 5 people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could probably get people
to go.
You know.
Sure. We'll look into it.
So there's a few other people that are doing it too. All right. Well, that'll be it for this episode. Thank y'all for watching. Like, subscribe our channel. Make sure to check out our YouTube video that we just did. It'll be coming out soon on Sonar Squirrel channel. Mm-hmm. And you can follow me on Twitter at tbackquinn. You can follow Skinny Rick on Twitter at skinnyrick, SKINERICK. Don't follow him in real life because that's weird. And that's it. So thanks for watching.